Ezras Hashem. Today's daf is daf Chav Ches. We are beginning at the bottom, very bottom of Chav Zayin Amud Beis. Let's make this very big. Okay, just to review, the first point of the Mishnah was, it's a fascinating thing. The Mishnah said that it's a nace. Shem Shahamayim Boitkin Oisa at the same time. That's Geshem. It's at the same time that the waters check her when she drinks. It could kill her. The waters will check him. Okay. Okay. Hi, Lewis. We just began. We just began over here. Okay. 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 Now the Gemara is saying, just the Mishnah said that at the same time that the waters check her, so also the waters check him. And if he's guilty, then he will die too. Now the question is, who is Oisai? Who is him? That's the bottom of the page, the bottom of Chav Zayin Amud Beis. So the Gemara says like this: Oisai Laman. Who is the Oisai? It will kill him. Ilemed, you say Labal, it refers to the husband, that if she drinks and the husband gets killed, if she's guilty, Baal my oven. What did the husband do? He didn't do anything. Will you say? We go to the top of the Chav Chesam and Aleph. The isbe avon. If he did an avera, batkule maya, the water will check him. What kind of avera could the husband do? Well, after the warning and after the seclusion, the nistera, the Torah says that a husband cannot be with his wife. He has to bring her to the Beis Hamikdash to drink the Sotah waters. If during that period he actually had relations with his wife, that's called an avera. And if she drinks the Sotah waters and she gets killed, then he will also get killed. So wait a second, that's not true. He is be'ava, and if he has this avera b'didei by him, will the water work by her? In other words, if he slept with her during the period of time that he's supposed to bring her to the Beis Hamikdash, will the water work at all for her? Well, Tanya, we learned in Brisa, the nika ha'ish me'avon. The man, the husband, has to be innocent from any type of sin. Well, ishahi, and only then will the woman tisa savana pay for her sin, pay for her crimes. So we darshan bisman she'isha ish menuka ma'avain, when the husband is completely innocent from any avera, including the avera of sleeping with her during the time that she's supposed to be brought to the Beis Hamikdash. Then the waters are effective and will check her if she did any sin. But let's say that the husband is not clean of sin. That means he slept with her after she secluded herself with the man during the period of time where he's supposed to take her up to the Beis Hamikdash. Then when he breaks her up to the Beis Hamikdash, the waters are not going to work. So the question is that the Mishnah cannot be referring to that the waters will kill the husband. So when she drinks, so who is the water going to kill? Ve'elo, says the Gemara, la boyel, the adulterer, the person she's accused of having an affair with, it will kill him. That's the nace. She's drinking the water, and if she's guilty, she will explode, and so will the adulterer. So then, if that's the case, then why doesn't the Mishnah say adulterer, boyel? Listen, let it say, Kidatani Seifa. Use the word boil as it uses in the second part of the Mishnah. The second part of the Mishnah says that if she did not drink the water, right, Kashem Shasura Labail, as long as she didn't drink the water, she's not permitted to be with her husband. If the husband dies and she never drank the waters, Tachasura Labail, she cannot now marry the person she had an affair with. She'll always remain asa to the boil. But you see, in that din of the Mishnah uses the vocabulary of la boyel, referring to the adulterer. So why didn't the Mishnah use in the beginning of the Mishnah, Geshem Shamayim Boitkin Oisa, so also it will boidik, it will check the boil. Answers the Gemara, you're right. La'olam la boil. It does refer to the boil, but it doesn't refer to him as boil, it refers to him as oisai, that person. Why? The Reisha, it's just consistency, to keep it consistent in the language. I did the Tana, since the Mishnah starts off, Oisa, referring to her pronoun, Tana Oisai, so it refers to him. It uses the same phraseology that it refers to her as refers to him. Remember, the Mishnah Snayas were all done by memory. So in writing the Mishnah, you have to keep the phrase consistent so it's easier to remember. Seifa, the end of the Mishnah, I did Tanabal, since it uses the phrase husband, right? She's asura to her husband. Tanabayel, that's why it switches and uses the word boil, referring to the adulterer. Now the Gemara explains the pasuk. How do you know the pasuk? The Mishnah brought a pasuk that it also will harm the adulterer. How do you know that? How do we see that in the Chumash? The Chumash only says that she's going to blow up with her stomach blowing up and her thigh exploding, melting. How do you know? So the pasuk says Shnema uvau uvau. So let's just see it inside, and so we'll bring it on the screen over here. And this is the subject of today's daf, is just to examine these three words. It says in the pasuk like this 3 times. It says the word uvau. Here, as you see, uvau avayim ha'ma'orim ha'ela. The waters will come into her stomach, and it says the word ba'u, as I highlighted it in green. But it also says uvau with an extra vav. Then it also says uvau va hamayim ha'ma'orim lamarim. Again, it also says uba'u with green, and then I have a vav uvau. So it says it repeats it. And then after the mincha, it also repeats the word uva'u va hamayim ha'ma'orim, and the waters will come. It says the word uva'u, and with a vav, the yellow is a vav, and vav, the word ba'u, it comes. So it's extra. So let us examine that. We go back into the Gemara. Ibaylahu, I want to ask you a question. What is really the drasha of the Gemara? Is it the pasuk ubo uvo ka'amar? That means we're trying to know, how do you know that the waters will kill him? Because it's the extra vav. Because it could have said ba'u without the vav, and it says uvo with the vav. That is the drasha to know that the adulterer will also get punished. Or does the Mishnah mean to say uvo ukamar? Means it says it twice. Actually, it says it 3 times. But uvo, it says the word bo twice. So the extra time it says ubo, that the water is going to come and kill her. So one is for her and one is for the adulterer. So what is the drasha of the Mishnah? Tashma, and it's Rabbi Akiva who's the author of that drasha. Tashma coming here. In a similar vein, the Mishnah darshans kishem asura labal kach asura laboil. Right, we saw that before. That just like she's usher to her husband, as long as she didn't drink the Sotah waters, so also she will remain usher to the adulterer. That means if the husband dies and she did not drink the Sotah waters, she cannot marry the adulterer. Shenama, the pasuk says nitma'a vinitma'a. That means nitma v'nitma. It says she must be separated from him, and vinitma, that she must be, and she will be separated from him. So that refers to one is for the husband and one is for the boil. So it seems from the Mishnah, it's the drasha is from the extra vav. Could have said nitma, and it says vinitma. So just like the second drasha is with the vav, so the first drasha also has to do with extra vavs. The Gemara says, how do you know the second drasha is because of the vav? Ba'adayin tiboyah. Maybe the Mishnah is saying nitma. It says the word nitma twice, kamar, and that is what is the drasha, that you're usher to the husband and usher to the boil. Oi nitma vinitma. Maybe the pasuk is concerning itself with the vav. So even in the second part of the Mishnah, it's not even clear that you're darshaning from above. Perhaps you're darshaning because the pasuk repeats itself, saying the word nitma, that you're supposed to be separated. Nitma doesn't mean tame, it means you're not allowed to stay with each other. And we'll darshan, one for the husband and one for the adulterer. So how do you know it's vavs and not extra words? Hashma, because come in here, midik tani sefer, in the very end of the Mishnah, just right after that din of nitma, Rebbe says that the drasha is shnei pa'amim hamurim b'parsha. It says it twice, shnei pa'amim. It says in the parsha of Sotah, vinitma. It says the word nitma twice. So therefore, echad labal ve'echad laboil. The Rebbe says that's how you know one's for the husband and one is for the adulterer. Michlal, so it must be that since Rebbe said it's because of the double words, the Rabbi Kiva Rabbi Akiva, who's written in the earlier part of the Mishnah, his mo basically is vave kadarish, extra vavs. Rabbi Akiva darshan, and the Gemara is going to summarize all the vavs, all the uba'us, and then we're going to get back to the nitma, and I'll bring up the screen again where it says nitma. But as I showed you before on the screen, it says 3 times the word uva'u, uva'u, uva'u. The water is going to come, the water is going to come, and the water is going to come. So that's almost like it's saying 6 times ba'u, because the vav doubles the ba'u. Each va'u is as if it's 2 times it says it. Hilkach, Rabbi Akiva, shita kroi ksive. There are 6 times that it says uba'u, ba'u. Once the ba'u and vav says it again, uba'u. So it's counted as twice. Why did the Torah say 3 times the waters are going to come and kill her? Chad litzava lidida. One is God commanding and empowering the waters to kill. God has to make a verbal, so to speak, a command that the waters are going to be fatal waters when it kills her. And God has to make another command that the waters are empowered to kill him, the adulterer. Not only that, there's another time it says uba'u la'asiya dida, that God has to make it happen. It's one thing that it has the potential to happen, but now there's there's another time it says that it's going to happen. It's going to follow through, and on her. And another time it says uba'u, that it says it's going to happen to him. And one time, so that's twice. Chad liyadiyah dida, to notify her, and chad liyadiyah didei, and one time it says to notify him. So what does that mean? That means that in the Chumash, it really, if you look at the Chumash, when the Kohen warns her, I'll bring it up over here so you can see it inside. But if you look closely, when the Kohen is talking to her and says, "Oh, you did this and this," then what's going to happen is your reichech neifeles. The pasuk says your thigh is going to melt, and then your stomach is going to blow up. Well, that's not the way it's going to happen. Actually, it's just that in the curse, in the threat, the Kohen expresses that the thigh is going to melt away, because that's really how she seduced this adulterer. So that's the first thing that the Kohen mentions. But when it really happens with the stomach blowing up, and then the thigh melts away. That's why when the Torah discusses it happening, it says v'tzafsna bitna. First the stomach blows up, then v'nafla yarecha, then the thigh melts away. So you have to notify her that this is the way it's going to happen, because if you don't notify her, she may at the very last minute say, "Oh, you see the Kohen," and before she dies, I guess she's going to say the Kohen's a liar, because it didn't happen the way he said it's going to happen. He said my thigh first, then my stomach, and see, I'm dying this way. My stomach first, and then my thigh. So we have to notify her it's going to happen in the right way, and the stomach first, and then the thigh. So right before she dies, she'll see that whatever the Kohen said came true. So you have to notify her the exact order, and then you also have to notify her the exact order. So that's why, according to Rabbi Akiva, you have 6 times basically it says uba'u. One is for the command that the waters have the potential to kill. One is that the waters will kill, and one uba'u is to explain the order how it's going to kill. First the stomach and then the thigh. But you have to explain that to both him and her. That's how Rabbi Akiva knows all this. Now the Gemara asks, Rabbi plus a kriyak said, according to Rabbi, he does not darshan extra vavs in the Chumash. So chad letzavah, chad le'asiyah, chad li'adiyah. So one, again, according to Rabbi, it's only for her. You have the command, the actual action, and the notification. But how do you know that the waters are going to connect to him, are going to kill him? The Rabbi, how did Rebbe know? How will Rebbe know that the waters are actually going to kill him? Rebbe doesn't darshan any vavs. And says the Gemara Nafkele, Rebbe learns it from the following. The Tani, because the pasuk says, "Latz bois betem v'lam pil yorech." Now, if you notice in the Chumash, it says how this is going to work. One time, I'm bringing it up on the screen. One time it says v'tzafsa bitna, the stomach, her stomach will blow up, and her thigh will melt. But the first time it says, if you look in the Chumash, it says uvo mayim ha'ma'orim ma'ayich latz b'isbetin, it will blow a stomach, v'lampil b'yorach, it will cause a thigh to melt. So why doesn't it say in the feminine terminology? When so we darshan bitnoi v'yirecha shel boil, it refers to the adulterer. Maybe it means her stomach and her thigh. How do you know it refers to him? Because we already have a pasuk that her stomach, her stomach will blow up and her thigh will fall apart. It says it about her. How do we use that word? That it's just a plain statement that a stomach will blow up and a thigh will melt. It's referring to the thigh and the stomach of the adulterer. The idach, what does Rabbi Akiva use that expression? Why does the pasuk tell us that a stomach will blow up and a thigh will melt? We need that for the moidula kohen. The kohen has to notify her the bet and beresha that the first thing is going to blow up is the stomach, and then the thigh. She shouldn't say that the waters are. She'll put out a libel against the waters. It didn't work properly. The kohen said that my thigh was going to melt first and then the stomach, and it actually happened reverse. So that's why the Torah says you have to notify her it's going to happen the stomach and then the thigh. Now, but if that's what the pasuk Latzbis Bev Lampa Yarech is, so then how does Rebbe know that idea? The idach, and Rebbe will know it this way: In Cain Lichtev Rachmana Betna V'Yarecha. Let it Torah write her stomach and her thigh. Man Bet and V'Yarech. But why does it use it as in a neutral language? A stomach, a thigh. Shmamina. It refers to labayel. It refers to also that if the adulterer stomach and the adulterer's thigh is going to melt. The ema kulo hachi hudas. Maybe it's just telling me that idea that this will affect the adulterer, and that's it. And it's not telling me the exact order of how it's going to happen. So the Gemara says, then in kain lichte bitnoi v'yirechoi. Why didn't the Torah write his stomach and his thigh? Why did it just use it as a neutral language? My bet and v'yerech. Why does it just say a stomach will blow up? A thigh will melt. Shmami no tarte. So you learn two ideas from that. Number one, the first idea you learn from that is that it's going to happen to the adulterer too. But number two, you also learn from that is that the order, it has to be mentioned to her by the Kohen that don't take my words literally, that I told you it's going to be thigh and then stomach. I'm notifying you that it's first going to be stomach and then thigh, and that has to be notified to her. So that's how we square off everything. Both Rabbi Akiva and Rebbe hold the same idea, that it happens to the adulterer and it happens to the mistress, of course, to the woman. But both also hold that we need 3 psukim, but the question is how you darshan those psukim. Now the Gemara darshans the Brisa. Rabbi Yeshua, Kach HaYiderish Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Zcharia, Tanu Rabbanim. Shalosh Pa'amim Hamurim B'Parsha Im Nitma V'Nitma Lama. It says the word nitma twice, that she defiled herself. So I'm just going to call it up on the screen, and once you have it in your head, then the whole Gemara is simple. First, the Torah says in the beginning of the parsha, let's call it from the end of the parsha. The end of the parsha says, I wrote it here. Asher, hold on, yeah. Aish Asher Ruach V'Kidas. Here it says, here we go. V'hoisa im nitma v'tilma mal be'isha. V'hishki yishmai v'hoisa im nitma. Here it says the word, and it's an extra im nitma over here. It could have said v'tilma mal, that she rebelled. What is it im nitma? Then further up, it says in the beginning, it says v'avalav ruach kina v'hi nitma'a. It says that she became tameh. he warned her and she became tame or not. So that's an extra vihi nitma, the Gemara darshins. And also, at kasiti satis tachas ishesh v'chi nitmeis. Now notice it also says vav, but v'chi nitmeis, that you became tame. So 3 times the Chumash says nitmeis. What does that mean, that you're defiled? Echad labal, that even to the husband she remains aser. That means the husband can, after the stira, after the seclusion, she cannot be with her husband anymore until she drinks the Sotah waters. The echad laboil, and that also tells her that she remains tame, so to speak, and should be separated from the adulterer. In case she does not drink the Sotah waters and her husband dies, she can't marry him. The echad latruma, if she's a bas kohen. Let's say she was a Sotah lady and she never drank the Sotah waters, and then her husband dropped dead. Now she goes back to her parents' home, or she's a daughter of a kohen. Can she eat truma? One teaches you that she can't eat truma. Divrei Rabbi Akiva, these are the words of Rabbi Akiva, that she can no longer eat truma anymore. Rabbi Yishmael, let's put this into parentheses. So Rabbi Akiva just teaches you an extra from the 3 nitmas that she's supposed to be separated from the husband, from the adulterer, and from eating truma. Rabbi Yishmael says, and this Rabbi Yishmael is just out of place over here. We'll discuss it tomorrow. It's like almost like put it in parentheses. Rabbi Yishmael says that she can never marry a kohen. A Sotah whose husband died and she did not drink the Sotah waters, she cannot ever marry a kohen. Why? Kal v'chomer. Rabbi Yishmael, kal v'chomer. I have a kal v'chomer that she can never marry a kohen. Uma grusha, a divorcee, a woman who's a divorcee. If she's a Devas Kohen, right? She got divorced. She's the daughter of a Kohen. She goes back to her parents' home. Shemutaris l'truma. She's permitted to eat truma, asura l'kahuna, but she can never marry a Kohen because a Kohen cannot marry a divorcee. A regular Kohen cannot marry a divorcee. Zu, this Sotah lady, shasur betruma. We just said that she always remains usher to eat truma, even if she never drank the Sotah waters. Einadin shasur l'kahuna. So certainly, if her husband died and she never drank the Sotah waters, she can't marry a Kohen. Again, Rabbi Shmuel is bringing up a topic Rabbi Akiva never discussed. Anyway, now the Gemara just ends off over here. Well, how do you read this pasuk of that means this pasuk over here, the very beginning of the parsha. If you he doesn't, that the husband, as I'm bringing it up over here, it has he doesn't want his wife to get away, so he warned his wife. She became tame, or he is now a passage of warning came over the husband. He's enraged by her, and she did not become tame. How do you read this pasuk? Did she become tame or did she not become tame? What's going on? It's a like a difficult pasuk to read. In Nitma, if she defiled herself and actually slept with the adulterer, lama shaiso, then why would she drink waters? It's not a doubt anymore. And if the pasuk means in loy Nitma, she did not defile herself, and we know for a fact that she did not sleep with the guy, lama mashka, why will the husband give her to drink the Sotah waters? He knows for a fact that she's not guilty. So the pasuk is saying that's the point. We don't know if she became tamei, and that's why he's warning her, or he's warning her because he doesn't know. Maybe she did not become tamei. So the husband himself is in doubt. So that pasuk is describing the husband's doubt, and because the husband is doubtful, and he warned her, and she secluded and violated that warning and secluded with the man, she now becomes usher to the husband because we assume that she slept with the guy. The pasuk teaches you, although we're not 100% sure she slept with the guy, secluded with the guy, the guy that she secluded with, she actually slept with him. It's an usher. She's always usher. We treat this kind of suffix doubt if if she became tamei or not come tamei. The Torah teaches you in this certain scenarios, you ignore her cheskes kashrus, and we assume that she's usher, and she now is usher to her husband. And from here, mikan ata don l'sheretz, that we extrapolate another din, but by a sheretz, that if a person is not sure if he touched a sheretz, a dead, let's say, a dead gecko, one of the shratzim, as matama a person, if he's not sure, if it's in a shus hayachid, you become tamei. Just like a soite, if it happens in a shus hayachid, we consider the doubt as a vadei tuma. So if you're not sure if you touched a sheretz or a sheretz touched haris, The man was holding a sheretz and he doesn't know if he touched regular food and is the food tameh. So we treat it as for sure it's tameh. And you learn it like this: Ma soita, the soita lady, shaloi asa b'shoigig kamezid v'oinus karatzin. Whenever she sinned, if it was by accident, she's not asa to her husband, or if she was forced and raped, we don't consider her asa to her husband as if she would have did it on purpose and willingly. But nevertheless, also basafik, when you're not sure if she slept with somebody, kivade, we consider it as if she for sure slept with somebody until she drinks the saita water. She always remains usher. So we're going to say like this: sheretz, a dead sheretz. If we know, if you have a sheretz, also by shoygid kamezid v'oinus karatzin, a sheretz, a dead gecko or any type of rat or something like that, or weasel that touched a vessel. It doesn't matter if it happened by mistake. It's the vessel becomes tameh, because the sheretz tameh, whether it's by accident or on purpose, or whether it was forced or it happened willingly. Certainly, sheretz is matameh. Ein edin. So certainly in a situation sheyasa boy suffix, when there is a suffix, we go to chavkef samabeis. We treat it as a vadai. So what the Gemara is just describing this din of. And a very important din throughout the whole Torah world, that if you have a suffix tuma, you're not sure if the person became tameh, if the question is, or the taharis became tameh, if it's in rishus hayachid, we treat it as a for sure tameh, and you learn it from saita, and you learn two more dinim from saita, and then that wraps it up. U'b'malkam shabasa, from that place that you're learning that a suffix tuma b'rshus hayachid is treated as a for sure tuma from soita. It's only ma soita rishus hayachid. Just like a soita, when do you treat a soita as a for sure tuma? Only if she's secluded with the guy in private. That means there was only two people in the room. Then you treat the lady. We don't know what happened. We treat her as if she for sure slept with the guy and she's usher. Af sheretz. So also a dead sheretz. If you're not sure if it was matame food or matame person, if you go strict only if it's a rishus hayachid, only if it's in a private room, let's say when nobody is around or maybe just one other person. But if it happened in a rishus harabim, there's a lot of people in the room, so that's considered a rishus harabim. So then the sheretz, if you're not sure if you touched the sheretz, we would go tahar. Safik tumor b'rishus hayachid is tamei, but b'rishus harabim is tahar. And one more thing, ma soita, just like the whole idea of soita is dava sheyesh boy das li shoel. It refers to a soita that you could ask him a question. Were you metame? There's a humans involved here. Can you ask the lady, did you sleep with the guy or not? So and then we treat it as a for sure that she slept with him, no matter what she says, until she drinks the soita waters. Af sheretz. So also, when do you go strict on a sheretz? Only in a situation where there's a human involved. Let's say you have a dead sheretz that fell from the sky, and you're not sure if it hit the vessel or not. So there's no human involved. You would say tahar, even if it happened in rishus yachid. The only time you would go strict in rishus yachid is if a man was holding on to rishus yachid, a human, and he's not sure if he touched the vessel with the dead sheretz or not. So that in that case, since there's a human involved, only in that case you will go strict. So you need three things over here. You need to happen. It has to be in a rishus hayachid. That's one, and two things, and it has to be with humans. The kan amru, from here we derive the general rule and a very important rule. Dava sheyesh boidas lishol. If there's somebody in the room that you could ask, there's a human interaction there. Birshus yachid, and it happened in a private domain. So again, a human holding on to a sheretz, you don't know if it touched the vessel or not. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if he actually hit his hand against the vessel holding the sheretz. Sveiki tame. Then you would go. If you're not sure, you say it's tame. Rishus rabim. The same story happening with people in the room. Sveiki tar. And then you go lenient that it's tar. By das lishlo, if there's no human involvement, let's say a sheretz fell from a tree and dropped, you don't know if it hit the keli or not, then bein b'rishus yachid, whether that story happened in rishus yachid, bein b'rishus rabim, Whether it happened in Shus Rabim, Sveikoi Tar, then you would go lenient. Okay, the Gemara just derived just one idea from a Sotah regarding Tumah. Okay, we'll stop.